Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heyurpsychic podcast. My name is Zamira. I'm a clairvoyant psychic and mystic in the Austin, Texas area, and I'm so freaking excited. We have our first in-person guest today. This is Iza. Now, before we show off Iza and all of the amazing things that they have to offer, some housekeeping first. We did change the name of the podcast, so if you're confused, don't be. We changed it. I am so excited to do this episode with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me and inviting me and creating a very welcoming space for us.
Yay, I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad you think so. Iza, you're an herbalist. You're creative.
Yeah.
You are a poet and you're also a healer. Iza literally has like an online Botanica that you can go and check out if you need anything from
teas to tinctures, seasonal support, and also handcrafted spiritual tools. I formalized my practice in 2018 under Poetic Bruja, and it was kind of just a way to connect all the different threads of my interests and my creative endeavors. So we do herbalism. I have the online apothecary, and you can also buy in stores in Taylor, Texas at Silver Moon Curios. And I also do poetry performances as well as like selling my own self-published books of poetry and hopefully more to come on that front. And then I also do education as a very core component of Poetic Bruja Botanica. We do workshops, soon to be offered virtually as well. And then healing arts. So I offer oracle readings, spiritual counseling sessions, as well as traditional limpias. And kind of the mission of the Botanica is not only to like bring all the pieces of my being under one umbrella, but also offer to folks the same resources and knowledge and skills and tools that really helped me through some really difficult times. So herbalism saved my life, and then finding the community through the herbal people was definitely a part of it. So I really tried to build community and help people, connect to resources and feel really supported, just as a way to kind of pass on that good healing that was gifted to me as well. And that's another beautiful thing about herbalism and the education component is that it has been passed down since people first started working with herbs, which I would argue is like probably the beginning of time. So it's a knowledge that's been passed down for generations and generations. So it's really amazing to be part of that unbroken line. And that is kind of the core of what I do, herbs for every reason, every season. And then kind of connecting with my indigenous roots through my healing arts practice as well.
I have been so honored to be able to be in some of your healing spaces. And guys, it's like transformational as fuck. So, and then we have like conversations in the background too, where we're just like basically on fire and just like super passionate talking about all this crazy shit.
Absolutely.
And
we go pretty deep.
Yeah, we do. And actually, it was one of our conversations that sparked this idea to just record together. I'm probably going to title this like kpopdemonhunters is real. It's like actually real life.
Absolutely is real life.
Yes. We were actually just saw the movie and we started conversating about it. We're just like, what the fuck? Like, it's literally all of the stuff that we stand for, but it's like real. Like, everybody thinks it's fictional and make-believe, and it's not.
Mm-hmm. And I would love to see like more discourse around the ways that pop culture / media is real.
Yes.
It has basis in real spiritual practices. And sometimes obviously they get it wrong.
Yeah, of course it's not going to be like this one-for-one type of spiritual lesson. But damn, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
And
it's a good mirror, right?
Yeah.
It's a good mirror.
Whenever we usually talk about anything having to do with fiction, but also these like really deep spiritual lessons, you always bring up this term called Neo-mythology. So can you break down what that means and how it relates to us now?
Yeah, for sure. Neo-mythology is, I don't know if I'm the one who invented it, probably not. There's probably other folks talking about it in this way as well. But it just kind of clicked with me one day when I study a lot of mythology for my personal spiritual practice as well as the books that I am writing. And so it just kind of clicked with me one day watching Sailor Moon, for example, watching Sailor Moon and realizing that the stories that are being told are similar to the ways that mythological stories are being told, in that they, obviously have certain components that are a little larger than life, but at the same time, they're mirrored lessons to the human condition, and the human experience, being a spiritual being, having that human experience. So I was like, well, this is like mythology. These are like, we're getting similar lessons here as we do from our creation mythos. So I was like, well, this is like the new mythology, because no longer do we gather around the fire. A lot of our oral traditions are, not necessarily dead, but not as prevalent, dying out mostly as well. We don't really have that place where we're gathering with our tribe or even our families to share those oral stories, and pass it down that way. But I love that maybe we're seeing some of that resurface and reworked a bit, through the things that we do consume mostly, which is movies and TV, music, and like that's still storytelling. That's still our form of storytelling for the modern age. And I think there is a lot of really powerful movies and TV shows that deliver those impactful messages to help us through things that are kind of universal to the human experience. Like, everyone feels ashamed of themselves sometimes. And maybe, a lot of us might experience psychic attack. And like, how do we get through that? So that's kind of Neo-mythology for me. And I'm excited to kind of bring some of that as well, that ideology, to my books that I'm writing as well, because I want to bring those old stories into the modern age and kind of rework them in a way that feels more applicable for us and where we're at right now with technology and everything.
There's a lot more technological media coming out lately that has everything to do with like cyberspace and all this other stuff, which is really interesting.
And a lot of times, if we're talking about the realm of like sci-fi fantasy, for example, we have like Star Trek, like the original series, which you could say predicted or maybe inspired some things like computers or wireless phones, eventually the cell phone.
So cool.
And so who is to say, like, what is inspiration and what is maybe like divine channeling?
Right. Or even past life memory.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And then we can get into like past life on other planets.
Oh my god.
And like maybe that's where we get some of our, alien stuff and ideas around that.
Yes. No, I love how you mentioned, we'll go deeper on this, but I love how you mentioned that media is our way of being able to share stories, share spiritual lessons that we may be going through, but it's almost like encoded, right? It's not in your face. And that's actually kind of similar to how mythology was back in the day too. Like it was quite esoteric, and really you had to be sort of, maybe not formally initiated, but initiated enough to kind of see and read between the lines a little bit. And so I feel like that's kind of what Neo-mythology has to offer too. Yes. And some people will say you're just fucking crazy, which is fine. But I do have this tendency to like look into all of the symbols and stuff and just like, what is this communicating underneath what it's showing, And I think
absolutely. And I think as seers, as psychics, as people who take on that healer role, that's kind of our job. That's kind of what we do, is like parse out for meaning. And then we can take those little nuggets. Like, for example, too, like my mentor in Curanderismo, in shamanic healing, they use this like one scene from Kung Fu Panda
yes,
to teach us about the importance of staying in our energetic shield and our energetic field, and not kind of like overextending ourselves. Like we're not, so it's the scene, I think it's Kung Fu Panda like 2 or something like that. It's a scene where a lot of the characters are in their little boats. There's like this big fire on this other boat, and they are trying to like save that person from that boat. If you get out of your boat to try to save that person, then you're also on fire, then you're also drowning. So you must stay in your own boat and use what resources you have within your own boat to maybe throw them like a buoy, or, you know, do it something that way. And they use that as a teaching tool for our shamanic healing.
I love that.
Which is like, that's a perfect example of why there is meaning, like how we can use it as a tool.
Exactly. Oh my god, that is so cute.
I know, right?
A lesson I definitely need to learn more of as well. Like, that is so cute though.
Right? And then like out of context, we're just watching this movie, and maybe there's some like, you know, wisdom that's integrating in there. But when you're able to see it with that lens of spiritual wisdom, because you are one who practices, or, you know, whatever, then you can take it to that deeper level, to that next level, and be like, these are the spiritual components in Kung Fu Panda.
Yes! Yes! Which I don't know why people don't talk about more. I think people are just scared of being crazy. You know? They're like, you're looking way too fucking deep. Well, then why do they make things so fucking deep?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, absolutely. And I think it's because we get a lot of our stories they go, it's like the same stories that we've been telling since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
They've just taken on different forms as we've evolved as a species.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the same core principles that we're seeing kind of like, you know, reworked. And that's exactly why it's just the timeline of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to anyone calling us crazy.
For fucking real. We've been doing this for centuries.
Right.
Like, what's fucking new, guys? Yes.
And humans learn the best through stories.
We really do.
Right? I don't like when someone's just telling me like what to do and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Tuning you out.
But give us a good story, we're all fucking ears.
Yeah, then I understand it. And I can like apply that to myself, because I'm watching like a character, and when we're watching a movie or a show and we see a character acting out of alignment, we can easily identify it.
Yes.
And it's so easy. And then, you know, when it comes to ourselves, we're too lost in the sauce. We're too like hyper fixated, right? And we don't have that perspective. But then when we see it on the screen, it's like, they're fucking up. Yeah, they need to tell them how they feel. If they only told them, if they get what they wanted, and you're just screaming at the screen.
I love it. No, that reminds me also about how we can discern truth. Like when you get that feeling of inspiration from these pieces of media, or like that feeling of like something is just clicking in me, like there's a message that's coming through. You just know whenever it feels right. Like there's something spiritual about that. For me, that little inspirational feeling that you get whenever you ingest media or whatever, that's an intuitive yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how it feels in my body whenever somebody asks me a question and I'm giving them a yes or no.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes. So whenever you see your character fucking up, your gut's crunching up. It's like, how could you do this? This is not the truth of the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love that, because that's such a core component when you're starting your spiritual journey, or at any point, because sometimes, you know, we can be far along on our journey and still kind of lose our sense of self and go back to basics, right? Scale it back. So at any point that you feel not in sync with your intuition, the first thing to do is an intuitive test, right? To see what that yes feels like in your body and your being.
Absolutely.
And I love the idea that we can use like our comfort shows to help us get back to that.
Going back to the past life memories, you know, I read that book called The Prism of Lyra, and it was just basically talking about aliens, guys. Like, we're just gonna go there, okay? We're gonna fucking go there. And it was practically saying that things like Star Trek, sci-fi, or Dune, or Star Wars were just, these were retellings of galactic past life memories that we have had according to galactic channeled history. And this is something that I've always felt, but nobody said anything. And then being able to read it on a page by somebody who like is able to channel all of this shit.
Right.
I'm just like,
right, and make sense of it.
Right. Kind of reminds me of Sailor Moon.
Ooh, yeah.
They're literally star seeds. Like,
They are.
from the Moon Kingdom. I watched a video because I was trying to explain like who's my favorite guardian to, and I was like, literally, I haven't even seen it that far. Like, I don't know. But I did watch like a lot whenever I was a kid. So I looked at this video looking at the whole history.
Yeah.
And they literally are starseeds from another planet. They are reincarnated into humans. They actually die as humans.
Yeah.
And then they come back as humans. It's like,
it's crazy.
They're fighting aliens.
They are fighting aliens. And it's so crazy too, because oftentimes the aliens that are coming down to cause mayhem and plant seeds of doubt, and usually they play on people's like desires, like you know, that their attachments, their earthly attachments, like the desire to be beautiful, to like have a lot of money, or you know, their guilt or shame, or their feelings of isolation and loneliness, which we can see, you know, really happen. That's like what happens when we're feeling that way. We're very vulnerable and we're more susceptible to things like entity attacks. So Sailor Moon said, you know, stay with your people.
Yes.
stay on your game.
Stay on your game, girl.
Yes.
And fight in the power of the moon. We punish you.
It's so good because, and also like, not to mention the astrology aspect of Sailor Moon, because each of their planets, they embody a different celestial body, which we call upon to help us in our times of need, and they show up for us.
I love it.
It's amazing.
God.
There's so many levels to it.
There really is. There's so much. And then not to mention, it's like just iconic for how like free it is with like gender expression.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
Girl, you were ahead of it.
You can watch it, and maybe you did watch it as a kid, or you're revisiting it as an adult. It's okay to connect with that media, because a lot of it is media that's marketed for youth, for children. But I think that's like, you know, the starting age for that media, but it's okay for everyone to connect with it. And it goes back to that original storytelling where we're, you know, circling up with all of our generations of our family, and, you know, telling these stories in front of our oldest elders and our youngest little babies. So I feel like, you know, just because it's marketed for kids doesn't mean that it doesn't have super deep meaning.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it's not frivolous just because it's marketed towards these younger folks. Which we are not younger folks anymore, which is kind of crazy to think about. Yes. But
now we're the crazy aunties that tell all the kids, you need to watch this show.
Hey girl, have you seen this?
Have you seen Sailor Moon? Or like Hilda, which is a really good.
I've never seen Hilda.
It's a really good like animated series that they have on Netflix, and it's very like calm and soothing.
Kids be watching Skibbity Toilet. You know what I mean? And that shit is terrifying.
They're on their brain rot at like 6 years old. Yeah. On the brain rot. Yeah.
Well, some people have been saying that it's like programming, like demonic programming.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's like just a shit ton of like war and like shit feces and stuff like that.
Yes. Oh my god. I'm hearing that, and I feel like it connects to the K-pop demon hunters.
Yeah,
because that's kind of like what they are doing. The demons are doing in that movie is they are basically doing demonic programming through their music. Yes, yes, you guys. That's a whole conspiracy thing.
But is it though? But is it?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree.
I love that was like on scene. But is it?
What is it though?
Bitch, you got the red lights and people in cloaks and shit. Like, come on.
Right.
And then you want to laugh at being like, oh, it's not a ritual. It's like, girl, I'm scared. I'm at this concert. concert. I'm scared. Tell me why my nervous system is like freaking the fuck out at this concert. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And then some concerts you don't feel it at all. It's like the opposite. So like, why is that? Why is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Intuitively speaking, that's real.
Yeah. And intuitively speaking too, you can, like, if you think about it, when you have like a group of people that are in a space and they're hijacked, they're not themselves, that is some crazy energy to have that many people in a space kind of like feeding something darker.
That is crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
which not to say that it's like, because I know like in like the 70s and 80s, like bands like Black Sabbath and like, you know, heavy metal and rock got like called demonic.
They're
and
satanic. Like any rock.
Not the same thing, not what we're talking about here.
True. This is true. And we love that. You can, like, just because there's like emotion in the music, or maybe it does touch on like darker things, there's still a vibe. There's still a vibe. Like, do you feel free while listening to the song? Do you feel like you're expressing something through the song, or like do you feel like sick to your stomach, girl?
Yes. And like there is obviously a difference in the media that we're consuming.
Yeah.
Not only like in terms of music, like it shows in K-pop Demon Hunters, but also like I'm so glad that K-pop Demon Hunters has become a popular movie for, you know, young folks, because when I swear if I go over to my niece and nephew's house one more time and they're just watching Paw Patrol, I'm gonna lose it.
I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Because they are just brain dead watching that, and it's just not the storytelling that piques our inspiration, that makes us feel connected, that makes us feel seen. It's not deep. And when I go over and they're watching K-pop Demon Hunters and my niece is like, I'm strong and like I can do anything and just acting like a little dramatic badass. I love it. I'm like, you know, it speaks to her soul in that way. And that's kind of what we're talking about.
So you notice this like almost energetic difference in the kids too.
Absolutely. I could tell how empowering it was for her to watch that. And I don't think that it's even, you know, because the main characters are also girls. That's definitely a part of it.
Part of it,
yeah, definitely a part of it. And also, like, my nephew resonates with that movie a lot as well, because he, especially like at night, he has really bad like night terrors and he has trouble sleeping and he feels really scared. And now my sister-in-law, I suggested to her, since they resonate with this movie, to teach him that he can create that golden blanket over himself while he's trying to go to bed, and he's allowed to use his voice to, you know, rebuke negative energy. And more than anything, you know, sing, even because he does love music, to kind of cut through the density and help him to feel closer.
God.
And it's so cute. He'll just sing really sweet songs about how he loves everyone.
It's so cute. It's really such a child thing.
Right.
I love everyone.
So that's another way that movie can be used as a spiritual tool, even for young folks. Like, I really do think we can start teaching our children about how to protect their own energy from a young age, not only because it's healthy to have boundaries with other, you know, people on this realm. It's also important to have boundaries in an energetic and spiritual sense.
Absolutely.
And I know for me, when I was young, I was super susceptible, to say the least. I think that's part of what drove me to this work to begin with, is because I experienced such insane psychic things as a young one.
It's insane.
Yeah. And having something like this and having an adult to be like, you see that? We can use that in our real life too.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like the magic is, for helping the next generation. And that's what it's about.
I love it. Yes. Also because, I mean, things are just going to get more spiritual. We notice this wave of spiritual people. It's becoming popularized and people are waking up to it.
Yes.
And I feel like...
Oh my God, I got such chills when you said that.
It's crazy because it's like, as we're technologically advancing, we're spiritually advancing too.
Yes.
And I don't see it becoming this thing that just eradicates itself. I see it becoming even more relevant in today.
100%. I mean, all of us are here for a reason, but there's something very special about the souls that are incarnating right now. My niece and nephew are so spiritually in tune, and they have such a strong like vision. And they're like, that's not rare from what I've heard. Like, a lot of old souls are incarnating, and that is an important thing to recognize. Like, you know, something's happening. We're shifting in a big way. Going back to Sailor Moon.
Yes.
You know, the more that we have these entities trying to take over and force us into these darker energies, you know, globally, you know, in terms of like violence and general dis-ease and capitalism and
just like the system.
All the things. Yeah, all this is like, for me, I view all those things as like evil. Like, that is the root of evil, the cause of dis-ease, acting out of balance with the harmony of the planet. And so there is that kind of, and not to, because obviously I'm not trying to bring anyone down, but but it's important that we realize like, as much as there is that force, there is also like Sailor Moon. There's a reason that we're here. And if we want to be a proponent for those higher vibrations, then we got to do it. There's a fight to be had here. And it starts with the self, which, going back to K-pop Demon Hunters, that was the core of it, right?
Absolutely.
Like, she needed to get right with herself before she could save the world.
Yes.
You know, she had to face her literal demon.
Literal.
And accept herself and feel that confidence to verbalize something that she was so deeply ashamed of. And that is huge. And in general, it doesn't have to be spiritual, but for me, it is. Like,
it is.
When you kind of are able, that's shadow work, right? When you're able to realize that you've been holding shame and guilt for something that you had no control over, that is simply a part of who you are, and you're able to come to peace and share that with others, that is an insane spiritual growth moment.
Absolutely. Yes. And if you haven't seen the movie, go fucking watch it.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
She's basically the lead person. Her name is Rumi. I loved her character so fucking much because when we look at these protagonists that we usually see, they are usually like a bright soul, the lightest of the lightest. They're gentle, like Serena or Usagi from Sailor Moon. She literally has this pure crystal fucking heart, you know. She's a softie, she's a babe, like, she is of the light. But with Rumi, I feel like it's not very often where they make the protagonist complex and like dualistic. I think that's really empowering because that's the truth. Right? Like, that's who we are as humans. We are both, it sucks to say it, but we are both truth, light, and we are also distortion. Like, we also got shit to deal with.
Why we are here is to heal that and make peace with that on that level. Because as we see in K-pop Demon Hunters, when she is feeling ashamed of that side of her, it just eats her up. It just eats her up, and she's living in fear, and she is, you know, just out of alignment, and we hate to see that. And we're like, everyone will accept you. Like, again, from that perspective of the viewer, we're like, everyone's gonna accept you. It's gonna be okay. We love you how you are.
Right.
And I also love the way that they kind of revealed that truth in the movie, because at first you think it's like classic trope, like she's just going to be that love and light, and she's raising the vibration of the planet, and so it's like that purity thing. It's like, you know, you can't be pure if you have inner demons. You can't be pure if you have a shadow side. And then when it reveals that she actually is like, has these demon markings and everything, you're almost like, whoa. Yeah, it's like a bombshell.
Oh my god. Who really really are you?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Was she secretly one of them? And it's like that dichotomous nature of like us versus them. And, you can only be one. You have to choose a side.
Even if you're on the side of the light, right? You still have that polarity being like, well, we're the good ones, so y'all need to get the fuck out. Like, her friends were so ready to just like, girl, we gotta turn on you, because like, what the hell is this?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, and also to speak to that component too, like this movie deals a lot with acting out of hatred for the sake of a greater cause. Right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're killing these demons. I hate these demons. They are fucking terrible. All we have to do is kill them all and everything will be better. That sounds pretty sus.
Where have we seen that before, guys?
Right. And then when you start to build compassion for what you originally thought was like the enemy, right? And so we have some complex demons. And it's not the first time, like I know in Demon Slayer, this is true as well. These distorted versions of human beings started out as someone who just needed help or maybe did make a bad decision. Sometimes humans make fucked up choices.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, sure. And that doesn't mean that we don't deserve compassion and forgiveness, especially if we're willing to change. In terms of like lifetimes.
The demons are really just truly vulnerable people who are acting on their shame. And that goes to show like, look, like the shitty emotions you may have, they're telling you something about yourself, something you have to process, but it's not saying it's true, right? We have to use them as like nuggets to evolve, not as our truth. And he was seeing his shame as like, oh, it's true, I'm a fuck up. Yeah. Like, it's over, you know?
And it's so interesting too, because it, like, again, we're not even just talking about one lifetime, we're talking about lifetimes, right? Because that's something that happened in his, in his previous life. It's been, who knows how long, generations since he made that one, messed up mistake. And so his soul is trying to evolve, but he's stuck there. And that's soul loss.
Yeah. Yes.
And so for me, like seeing the ending of that movie, I'm like, oh, his soul is returning to his higher self so he can move on and continue to learn his karmic lessons.
I love that. That gave me the fucking chills. That is dope as shit. Yes. And what drives him to do that? The choice. The choice to let it go. The choice to see the light.
The choice to let it go is huge, actually.
It's hard.
It's huge. That aspect of surrender is like a very big part of that movie, and it's a big spiritual lesson as well.
Absolutely. And it's difficult to practice every day, but we can make it easier.
We can, but just by being like easier on ourselves, right? Like you said, and kind of going back to the demon hunters who kind of at the end they kind of have the breakthrough, but for the majority of the movie they're like acting out of hatred. They're acting out of like, fuck that shit. We have to reject and just bury and seal it away. Yeah. And it's not allowed here. This is a pure space. And those things just cause so like evil and just the whole narrative.
They end up losing their light too whenever they act like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that whole narrative is part of what keeps us limited and is part of what keeps us stuck in those cages. That's not true freedom.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's no way to win that battle leading with judgment and hatred, even if, it might be justified if someone does something that crosses you, or in this specific situation, not just interpersonally, but also if there is like a negative attachment that's coming through, if there is some kind of like entity, demonic stuff happening, you're never going to cast it out by being angry at it, by being fearful or hateful towards it. That's literally what it wants.
Yeah.
The only way to clear it is to have that detached compassion.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And say, even you deserve the light.
Yeah.
And in that way, we can return uncreate those negative attachments and return it to the light, similar to the end when he is able to kind of return to his soul.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Do you think in a way Genu was an attachment?
Ooh, that's so interesting.
Right?
I'd say yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because in the end, he leaves whenever
leave.
she, like,
is able to
decide.
clear. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and that's so interesting, too, because it brings up the point that she went through this hard spiritual lesson, but that right there is the straw that broke the camel's back. That's what changed her perspective enough to do the thing.
His presence, right?
Yeah, it was his presence.
And y'all, that's why you can't be afraid of the dark. You have to just, like, kind of understand where it's coming from, right? Because that's how you transmute it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's crazy too. That's such an insightful, like, noticing, because not only does that happen, but also she recognizes, like, her shadow and his shadow have a similarity. It's like the same vibration of shame.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Something that they conceal and can't share with anyone. And that's kind of what drew him to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That is wild. So just to know also, like, it kind of gets me curious to know, you know, do these attachments, they also have stories of their own.
Right.
You know? Some of them maybe.
None of this is the spiritual advice to say that if you watch K-pop Demon Hunters, you can go clear entities.
Oh, hell no.
Don't do that.
Hell no. Y'all, you need to know how to talk to your own guides.
Yes.
Something that's really interesting to think about also is how Guima, the main demon guy, he was talking and controlling to everyone through the thoughts. You know? And that's kind of similar, for spiritual OCD girlies. Close your ears.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, right. None of this is spiritual advice, guys. We're all safe. We're all good.
Yes, we are all safe and we are all good. But yeah, they tend to speak in our own voices, just with negative thoughts. And so they're passerbys. It doesn't mean necessarily you have an attachment or anything.
Right. Or just in general, like having just our own internal thought processes, having that negative inner voice, that negative self-talk, is a thing for sure.
Yeah.
And even if it is coming from our own selves, it can still kind of lead us down a path that's out of alignment. Right. Because again, we're judging ourselves, we're talking badly about ourselves, we're bringing ourselves back to points of shame as a way to justify that we don't deserve joy and happiness and freedom.
Yeah.
We hold on to those things even within our own selves, right? We hold on to those things as ways to keep ourselves, you know, in that lower space, because it's like that idea of being good enough or deserving.
Yeah.
And making peace with that part of ourselves, that voice that's yelling at us, is the only way that we can move forward.
Absolutely. Making the choice to think otherwise and understanding why you end up in those spaces. Yes, that's what helps you get up and out of it instead of like being like
interrupting that thought cycle for sure. Or just have like curating a voice that speaks a little louder than that one.
Yes.
Like, I love the idea of interrupting our negative self-talk with, I don't know, just like, shut the fuck up.
Just shut the fuck up,
stop.
Girl.
Just hold on, just stop. I'm not doing that today.
Or even just laughter.
Yeah.
Just being like, girl, what the hell are you saying?
Yeah, right.
Like, at the end of the day, it probably is so fucking silly to say. Like, damn, bitch, what did you do to deserve this?
Oh, I love that. That's important, too, just to laugh at that a little bit. It brings a lot of levity. It makes it feel so much less serious.
Yes. Also, I wanted to talk about the Honmoon. That's what they call it, like the grid, and being able to weave that all together.
Yes.
Oh my God. So that gave me a little bit of hope. I was like, oh my God, is this how it could work?
Right.
You know?
Chills again.
Yes.
Is this what we're doing collectively? Each little thread of hope and light that we're weaving, is it weaving together?
Yes.
Oh.
And yeah, just looking at the wiki, it's literally just like this seal that protects the world from darkness, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, damn, how fucking cool would it be if we were able to like perfect that grid a little bit more and just like be able to uplift things? What if that is the antidote to bad leadership and capitalism? You know what
Hey,
I mean?
man, I think it's a big part of
It's a
it.
big part
I
of
think
it.
it's a big part of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of other work to be done, of course. And we've got to, like, obviously do real work in real life, right? It can't just be all energetics. But damn, it could help.
Right. And again, like, we each do have a role in that greater change that's happening, that the change that we want to see in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We do all have a piece to offer to that. And not everyone is going to be like out there changing legislation or out there, you know, burning things to the ground. Some of us are going to be, you know, doing our healer thing and sending out that healing energy to people who are doing that good work and uplifting that. Because again, I mean, for me, I just don't see being hateful, like bringing others down is never going to lift anyone else up.
No.
So I'm all about that. Like, you know, we're lifting up the people who are out there doing that real, tangible, physical change.
Mm-hmm.
And just operating with the knowledge, if you feel hopeless, right? If you're feeling hopeless about the state of things, operating with the knowledge that it really does start with you. There's a lot of things you can do and how you live your daily life that will help heal things.
Yes, and empowering yourself, you know, instead of just like drowning in the fear.
Right, which we all go there sometimes.
We go there,
of course. Yeah. But kind of, again, going back to the Kung Fu Panda thing.
Yes.
It really has to start with ourselves. If we keep jumping our own ship to save everyone else in the world, we'll just go down with them. We live in a society that, you know, prioritizes either hyper independence or codependency.
Right.
But the way forward is that interdependence, which to me makes me think of that weaving together of that golden tapestry. We're bringing things together. We're creating something that's bigger. Like, yes, we are interdependent on each other, but that doesn't look like overextending myself or sacrificing myself for the sake of others. And it also doesn't look like me just saying, fuck the world. I'm going on my own journey. I am the chosen one. This is all me.
Yeah.
I'm saving the world.
As much as we may want to just like fuck off and go into the forest.
Yeah, which that is fair.
Is there anything else you want to talk about with K-pop demon hunters? Anything that stood out to you?
I love that she confronted her abuser. I love that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and that all tied into like just childhood trauma and how that came from it.
Right. I know.
That's new.
Right. Trust that I was sobbing at that point. Because unfortunately, a lot of us know what it's like when someone who's supposed to love us unconditionally doesn't
doesn't actually.
And then they think that they are, right? Her aunt, or
I think it was her aunt. Yeah.
Her aunt, you know, thinks that she's protecting her by telling her to assimilate and just pretend like this isn't part of you and just hide what ultimately I believe is her gift that she can walk both realms. She sees as shame, and she has to hide it away and just pretend like it's not there. And that's learned behavior.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting, again, going like to that compassion place. It's like, you fucked up and you kind of suck and you probably will never accept me, but in order to move on, I'm just gonna have to forgive and see that you were just scared, and that's too bad because I'm not scared anymore.
That was her whole projection on her. Damn, guys.
Yeah, I loved that part.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. I also, I just love the whole concept of Rumi, how like even though she was able to carry both of those dualities, like, and in the end she was the one to make the change happen. Like, she was that critical point that switched the seesaws, right?
Yeah.
So you need your darkness, guys.
Right. And each one of us has our own journey that we're going on.
Yeah.
And never think that it's not powerful enough to change, change the scales, because it
Yes.
is every little point of that healing journey contributes to the greater healing of the whole planet. That sounds so
Always.
silly, but it's true.
It's true. It's this like idea of a holographic universe, right? A microcosm is a aspect of the macrocosm. Like, in order to be able to treat each other better, we have to know how to treat ourselves better. And once we all do that, then it spreads inevitably, I think it's really, even though there's a lot that is surfacing about our society and it's like in fucking shambles right now, even though there is that, I do see, like, the people that I talk with on a day-to-day, I do see that healing happening. Like, you're able to have these like deeper conversations with people, and you do see that people are interested in their mental health or even their own healing journey. Like, we've never really had that before.
Right.
So even though everything looks really daunting, there is this like little shiny bright light that's happening in the real world, like here. Whenever you talk to people, like, it's not happening on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is happening on the phone, but
sometimes, but it's really easy to get lost.
It is.
In the doom scroll.
Right.
And it's important to stay informed, but we can't live there.
No.
Yeah, saying that for myself.
Chronically online.
Right.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my god, yeah, of course. Of course, all of your information, go to Iza's resources. It's on izaavalos.com. I'll put it down below or in the show notes, wherever you're watching or hearing this. Go visit their online Botanica, and you have also many other resources. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for this amazing conversation. It's always fun.
Yeah.
It's always like...
Yeah, and we're just getting started. Like, I'm sure we can record another podcast right after this.
I can probably could. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know, like, what are your favorite things to watch? What inspires you? And what makes you feel like you have... like, there's some sort of spiritual message in whatever you're consuming, too. I would love to know what you guys are looking at. But I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for listening, and I hope to connect with you guys soon. See ya! Bye! Bye.